How are my favorite girls in the world doing? I am so excited to be here for another episode, the first episode of 2026, and I am so fucking happy. Like, I really feel like this year is gonna be full of opportunities and possibilities. It's year number 1, which might mean that some of you might be still closing certain chapters. I certainly still am, and at the same time, you can already see the light at the end of the tunnel. You can already see, the little glimpse of what life gets to look like this year and, for the following era of your life. And so I can feel that excitement. I can feel the momentum building up, and it feels good. It feels good because, as you know, I had a really hard 2025 and I know a lot of you relate to that. And to finally be in an energy and in a place where I can start to feel, more excited and hopeful and optimistic about what comes next, that feels really good, because it was not a year where I had the capacity to be optimistic sometimes. Like, I really lost that in me this year, lost a little bit of my spark. And then in the last few months of the year, I feel like I've been really getting that back through so much of also my dedication and my commitment, obviously, and the support systems that I have around me. Like, that really fucking helped. Like, if it wasn't for therapy and coaching and the membership that I was in, and if it wasn't for myself and my dedication to regulating my nervous system and journaling constantly and all those different practices and being in nature, being with myself, like letting myself feel my feels, like all of that did have the most impact in getting back on track with who I feel like I came here to be. Okay. And so I think now it's really like a new opportunity to like rise to the occasion and really like tap into what you want your year to be about, like what you want this year to like make happen for you, if that makes sense. Like, what do you want to do this year? What do you like, where you want to go? What do you want to explore? Who do you want to become? And really fucking claiming that, like owning that without overthinking too much about it, like taking steps forward. That's all this year is about. And, because of that, I felt really inspired to start the year with kind of, this is actually going to be a 2-part series, and it's going to be the ins and outs for 2026. And I'm going to start with the ins because I want to start with like basically not calling you out on the first fucking episode of the year. Thank you. You're welcome. Oh my God, my bra keeps falling off. Sure, fine. But basically, this to say that I wanted to do this 2-part series. I thought it would be fun to start off like that, and also like in a way to really keep the momentum, keep the self-reflection and the awareness. Those are 2 really important pieces. Like, when we want to change our lives, we need to like continue to stay aware of maybe the patterns that we're still holding on to and the limiting beliefs and all the ways that maybe we're still sabotaging the life that could be ours. And I'm always fucking catching that. Like, that's the thing. I'm by no means fucking perfect. Like, I'm always noticing all these different stories and limiting beliefs and patterns still playing out. And it really is about taking responsibility for that and not just leaving that up to fate or just, oh, this is how I am, this is how it's always going to be. Like, really putting in the intention to changing that and finding ways to do so. Find the support that you need to make that happen. Again, that support system has been super fucking helpful for me. And also continuing to do that inner work, like continuing to build self-awareness around all these things that, if you're not paying attention to it, they're just kind of running your life without you even realizing. Like, these old patterns, these old belief systems, these old fucking like fears that just keep you so stuck. You need to acknowledge those. If you're not really paying attention to that, and if you're just letting your ego kind of like pretend that that's not there, it's going to be harder to create that change. So first of all, awareness is going to be a very fucking important piece this year, because that's what we need to change. We need the fucking awareness that we are either stuck or that we are somewhere we don't want to be, that the way we're thinking is not helping us. So whatever it is, like, that awareness is the first thing that we need. And then we need to take action. integrate that awareness into movement, into actually getting fucking things done. And I think this year is a big year for action, for taking big steps, for being bold, for claiming, for saying yes. Like, fuck yes, I'm really excited. I don't know if you can tell. I'm also kind of sick, by the way. So if my voice sounds weird, that's why. But I really wanted to start the year with you girls, obviously. So this one was really important for me to make, especially because, it's just been less than a week since the year started. And there's already so much that I am learning, that I am like integrating in my own journey, my own process. And I want to like pass that on to you, kind of like pass the torch. And hopefully that will also give you certain hints or certain breadcrumbs, certain things that you can like integrate into your own journey that will be really helpful for you to move forward in your own path, because we're like, if there's something that I'm realizing is like every single person is on their different fucking path. It's completely different from each other. And we just really got to stay like focused on us and really hone into what our soul is calling us towards. And, with creating the vision board, one of the things that I noticed is that like the best thing that you can do is to really like connect to the hints that you're already receiving from the universe, the places where your curiosity is like kind of tickling you towards. It's like, there's this thing here, I kind of want to explore that, I kind of want to experiment with this, I kind of want to blah, and not necessarily like, oh, this thing on social media looks pretty cool, maybe I should do it as well. Like, leave the shoulds behind and really just connect with, ooh, like I feel like this can be really fun, or I'm feeling some kind of way about this, and letting that be the driving force behind your actions, instead of like FOMO, instead of like comparing yourself to others, like really tapping into you and what your body is like already hinting you towards. Because what I notice is, for me this year, it's going to be a lot about not just business. And I think for the past maybe 2-3 years of my life, most of my focus has been towards business. It has been towards, making money or figuring out my career, but not really like understanding every other single area of my life. Like, I feel like I was really neglectful of most areas of my life because it was so important for me to figure that part out, and that only left me feeling really empty. And that's the fucking truth. I love my business, but I was building a very unhealthy relationship with it because it was all that mattered. And it kind of brought me back to when I was in a relationship and how that was all that mattered. And so it's kind of like this, the focus switched, but the pattern is still there. And I was like, fuck, like this is still happening. Like I'm still repeating that same like pattern. And so when I realized that, it was obvious to me that for this year, for 2026, I wanted to live bigger and I wanted to focus on more areas of my life and like fill my cup in all these different ways, because when you focus on just one fucking area, first of all, it's very easy to get dragged into just noticing the bad things about that thing, because you want to fix it, you want, quick results. And so it brings more frustration if that's all you're fucking focused on. But if you have all these things going on for you, if you have friends, if you have a social life, if you have, hobbies and things that you do on like a weekly basis, and there's just other things that you're putting your focus towards, I feel like it frees that tension that you might feel towards that specific area that you want to like grow in, whether that's because you want to manifest a relationship or grow in your career, get a promotion or start your business or whatever it is. Like maybe it's a fitness goal, maybe it's blah blah blah, but if you're just focused on that and that's your entire reality, I feel like it actually makes you less abundant, if that makes sense. Like I think when you are truly abundant and rich in energy, you are pouring more things. You are expanding your capacity to receive. You're not just choosing to receive in this one fucking area. No, like you're saying, I wanna have it all because I get to have it all. And I think that really changes how you like move through life. You might be hearing some background noise. Do not worry. Everything is okay. The child is sick, as I am, as a lot of people are in this house. So that's what's happening. But again, we gotta put this out there. But my point so is that that's kind of the first thing that I really want to talk about. It's like, if you want to live your best fucking life this year, and I'm no guru, but I do find that these things are going to be really impactful for me and you, so I want to pass it on, is that first of all, you want to think about how you can make your life bigger. You want to think about, of course, like what goals you have, what things really fucking matter to you, but then how can you like bring other things into the picture? So for example, I even put like relationship things on my vision board, which I never did. I've never done ever before, because I just thought, you know what? I am ready to meet my person, and I kind of want to claim that this year, so let's put it there. And I put a lot around hobbies and lifestyle, and not just like careers and result and blah blah, because again, the richer you become, like, it just means that you are amplifying, you know, your reach towards your life. Like, life becomes bigger, you know, it becomes better because it becomes bigger, and you're inviting more of it to you, you know, like you kind of become this portal of receiving energy, and that portal only amplifies, and the more it amplifies, you know, the better your life becomes. It's not like, oh, I want to receive more money, so let me like literally close all these different tabs because they don't matter, and I only want to receive from this place. Like, no, it's one fucking tab, you know. You start receiving from one place, you start receiving from the other. If you allow yourself to receive love, you allow yourself to receive money, and vice versa. Like, if you allow yourself to feel pleasure and have fun, that fun is also gonna like kind of come through in all these different areas of your life. Like, that fun is also going to come through in your business, and maybe in things that you never thought were going to happen. Maybe because of you inviting more fun into your life, you're going to travel more, and you're going to receive opportunities that weren't even like possible before. They weren't really like even, you know, in your consciousness or in your reality. Like, it didn't feel like they were within your reach, because energetically maybe they really weren't, because energetically maybe you weren't like saying yes to those things. And so that is why I think living bigger can actually be the solution to a lot of your frustrations. Because what I've noticed again is, when I'm not just focused on business, and when I'm putting energy in all these different things that I love, and side projects and things that I want to do to like have fun and pleasure and friends, and like just balancing it out, it makes me feel, first of all, more in harmony with myself. And then the other thing is, it just makes me feel more open, and it makes me feel more relaxed. And so I've noticed that the results in my business have been fucking insane lately. Like, I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but I'm basically going viral on Instagram lately. Like, my videos are doing really well, and I've been gaining more followers than I have for like literal fucking years. And it feels refreshing. Let me tell you something. It feels really good to get that level of visibility. But at the same time, it's like, that's not the only thing that feels good in my life right now. And I think that's why. And sure, I'm still like fine tuning into it. I'm still like figuring out my rhythm. I'm still figuring out what actually feels good, what doesn't. And you get to adjust, you know, with time. You get to adjust like along your journey, and really like understand like, okay, actually this is not what I want, or actually like I feel like I need more of this and less of that, or blah blah blah. Or, you know, some seasons obviously you're going to be focused more on career, some seasons you're going to obviously be focused on, you know, relationship, or maybe if you are in that phase where you want to be a mom, you can focus on that. I'm not suggesting that you have to focus at, like, you know, you have to put equal amounts of focus in each category of your life. It's more that you are watering each category of your life in the way that feels the most nourishing to you, right? So I think that's really fucking important. And to that, I also want to say that one of the things that I find to be so fucking powerful is, you know, you have your goals and you have the things that you want to create for yourself this year. Another thing that I want to suggest is that you really think about what type of practices and routine, what type of like rituals, like daily rituals, weekly rituals, you do that will support you in your goals and in that journey of making it happen. Because what I can tell you is, when you are going through a lot of change and when you're taking big steps, that's going to shake you. That's going to shake you to your core. It's going to like bring up some fears. It's going to bring up limiting beliefs. It's going to bring maybe even healing that you didn't even know you had to do. And it's going to bring up a lot of stuff, a lot of shit, you know? So what you want to do is that it's really important to find rituals that ground you, that regulate you, that make you feel safe, that make you feel like, you know, that kind of anchor you back into yourself, into your soul, into your body, into that place where you feel at home. And I think that's really fucking important. So you do not fucking skip on that. Like, that's an in for this year, is really creating intentional rituals and routines in your days, so that you can keep coming back to yourself. Because the thing is, the more you come back to yourself, the more you come back to that grounded space, the more intentional you're going to be with the decisions that you make, with the energy that you spend, with your money, with like all these different resources. And that matters, because the way you use those things, the way you use your own resources, will dictate what your reality, what like it's going to translate into your reality, right? Like, it's going to become your reality, like the actions that you take, the people that you give your energy to, the thoughts that you give your energy to. And if you are tired, dysregulated, on edge, if you're just like, you know, not in an anchored, grounded place, it's going to become harder to do that. And I'm, again, not suggesting like, of course you're not a fucking robot, but there is that intentionality that you can always create behind, you know, how you feel. Like, even if sometimes certain days are a bit harder than others, or, you know, sometimes obviously you're going to cry and you're going to feel things and you're going to feel deeply and you're going to, you know, feel angry or triggered or of course dysregulated. That is a normal part of being a fucking human. But what I'm trying to say is that you always know how to like get yourself back to your center, to your heart, and find that connection again. Because the quicker you learn to find that connection, the quicker you can continue to like stay in your lane, and the quicker you fall into alignment again. And I find that that's really fucking important if you want to like create change in your life, and if you want to like, you know, move towards another path, or move forward in your dreams, like basically go into uncharted territory. That requires a lot of fucking power and strength and courage and emotional maturity as well. That's for fucking sure. Emotional maturity as well. So like, learning how to do that is fucking essential to, you know, be able to create the year of your dreams. And I really feel like this year can be fucking yours to grab. This year can bring so much more abundance than you can even fucking fathom right now, because it's that type of year. It's a really special year. And so I would say that has been in this first week of the year. I feel like that has already made such a big difference for me. Like, again, because I made it a part of my vision board as well, I understood that those were important goals, you know, my personal growth, my lifestyle goals. Thinking about how I'm doing 10 minutes of silence a day, how I'm journaling every day, how I'm reading, and how I'm investing my time in things that are not really about showing up for other people, or about showing up even for specific results and goals and achievements that I have. What is up with all these fucking sounds? But more specifically about you and your well-being, and about your state of mind and your emotional state. That is the most important. That is always top one. When that is not in a good place, it's really hard to like figure out the rest. It's really hard to make the rest run its course and flow, you know, because you are not in flow. And so to get yourself in flow, think, you know, what things make me feel safe, make me feel grounded, what type of things make me feel nourished and give me more energy, what type of things make me feel more inspired or more connected to myself. How can I continue to improve the relationship I have with myself? How can I create moments of relaxation and pleasure and fun? Those are things, honestly, and this might be a fucking, a hot take, but I think that that's more important than any of the goals that you have on your vision board. Because if you can commit to that area of your life, I feel like everything moves with it, like everything falls together and falls into place when you are in a good headspace, in a good energy, when you are just like genuinely connected to yourself, and when your cup is full, everything else, like the overflow, goes into these different cups of your life, right? Into your relationships, into your, career, into your whatever dreams, into your adventures. Like everything just flows more because of that, because your cup is overflowing. And so I'd say that that's a big important mission and commitment that you have to make with yourself. And on Patreon, I have an entire fucking tier related to this, the Self-Devoted Girly. So this is where you're gonna find like all the materials and the tools and the practices that I use on a daily basis that really allow me to connect with myself, that allow me to feel more nourished, that allow me to continue to build a grounded, secure relationship with me, through self-love, through healing, through meditation, through all these different things that I'm sharing with you on Patreon exclusively. I'm not really sharing this anywhere else, but this is the place where I'm putting these materials because I know how sometimes it can feel a bit scattered and you see so many things online, you don't even know where to start, you don't even know how to like truly show up for yourself and like commit, and how do you build that, internal stability more and more. And so I put out there all the materials that have helped me personally in my own journey. A lot of them I had to figure out by myself. Some of them I picked up from other people and from adaptations that I've done. And so just a mix of a lot of wisdom that I want to pass down to you, because again, like knowing how to create those intentional practices and moments and rituals is very fucking important. Like it's probably the most important part. And for me, that has looked like, again, like the 10 minutes of silence, the journaling, the going down for a walk. Like I have this thing where I go outside and I breathe fresh air every day. Like I take a bath every month, like all these different things. And the thing is, I didn't wait for the perfect timing to start with those goals and to start setting that routine. I am doing it already because I know that the more I wait, the harder it is to get started. So because the momentum fades away, that's the thing, the momentum fades away. And now that it's the beginning of a new year, it's the perfect momentum. If you're feeling the energy, if you're excited because your goals are feeling more real and more palpable, because obviously like if you're using the new year to reflect and to set up your vision and to set up your goals, it's obviously going to feel more alive to you right now. So use that energy to really like start, putting that through and integrating it into your reality. How can you make that a fucking reality already? For example, like one of the things that I really wanted to do this year is produce my own songs. And there's a whole journey there that I know I could literally talk about forever. But it is a big part of my 2026 is going to be to invest more in my music career and in that dream specifically, because I know that my destiny is to be a pop star. I know my destiny is to be a pop star. And I've never said this out loud like this. It feels like weird and itchy, and at the same time it feels perfect. Like it's exactly what I think I've always, run away from a little bit because of its bigness, of how, giant it feels to me. And at the same time, I feel like more and more destiny is calling, and I'm meant to like take quick steps towards that. So a big part of this year for me is going to be around music. And I'm glad that I'm putting more of that in the front and center. And I'm doing that because, again, I am giving more relevance to all these different areas of my life that are not just business related. And that has allowed me to see, like, actually, there's this area of my life that I'm neglecting a little bit, but actually it's a big part of my soul's journey. And so it also gives you, like, again, momentum in other things that you didn't even consider anymore, because your ego wants to control, your ego wants to control the narrative, your ego wants to control the story. But your ego can't control that shit. You know, you can't control that shit. You can't control where your journey goes. You can't control what your soul genuinely fucking wants. Of course, you can decide upon certain things, but certain things have lived within you since ever. Like for example, music for me, I've always known, but I've not always necessarily wanted to acknowledge or accept it or be okay with it. And I'm finally in a place where, you know, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to say yes to that part of myself. And so a big goal of mine this year is to produce my own song. And instead of waiting for fucking ever, I actually already got started and I'm already producing the song, like my first song. And I'm producing it myself, which I thought I would never do because I kept coming up with all these different excuses like, oh, I don't know how to produce it. It seems too complicated. You have to pay a lot of money. You have to have these materials and this and this and that. Dude. Then, because how fucking crazy is the universe? I went to this coffee shop that I go to every fucking week. It's the place where I'm a regular in. I decided to do that because I want to meet people, and I thought this would be a good way to socialize because obviously, like, seeing the same faces every single like week, it's natural that you're gonna go into conversations, which has already happened. And this one girl that works at that place, I met her like a few weeks ago and she does her own music, and I was telling her about exactly that, like, oh, I haven't started because, you know, it's just I don't really have any materials and I don't have this and that. And she literally called me out on my bullshit to the point where I wanted to punch her in the face. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? You do not know me. Like, why are you assuming that you do? And what she said was like, it's actually not that hard. Like, I was also telling that to myself, and so many people are saying that, but it's actually like, it's pretty simple. It's just like you're basically scared of getting started. And I'm like, how fucking dare you? But that really stayed with me, and I feel like it was actually the universe. The universe sends messages, girlies. The universe sends messengers, okay? Sometimes people speak to you and it literally feels like something possessed them to say exactly that. And it literally, like, it's exactly the point that you needed to know about. That has happened like at least 4 or 5 times in my life. And it almost gives you chills because it's like, what the fuck just happened? And it was one of those moments. And that stayed with me. And then I realized, you know what, like, let me figure this out. So I asked her, I have her Instagram, and I asked her, like, okay, what programs are you using? And she recommended a few. I downloaded one of them, and at first I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, how am I supposed to figure this out? This literally looks like Chinese. This is worse than Chinese. I learned Mandarin at school. This is worse. This is way fucking worse. I do not understand a single thing. After 2 fucking days, I figured it out. And I already have a pretty solid sounding song. I mean, it's not by any means perfect and not by any means at the level of, you know, the big pop stars. Because those people are working with a ton fuck of people, by the way. They have like amounts, like, I don't know, 10 people working for one song. Obviously, there's a lot of practice and blah, but that's the thing. One of the things that I really wanted for this year is like progress over perfection. I let perfectionism get in the way a lot because, you know, perfectionism is really just a form of self-protection. It's just a form of you not wanting to make mistakes, not wanting to be rejected, not wanting to fail, not wanting to be humiliated or misunderstood or whatever, right? And so what I realized is like, I keep letting perfectionism get in the way, but this is only hurting me so fucking much. So what I decided to do is no. And my word for this year is courage, because I know I'm gonna need a ton of fuck of it to do a lot of the things that I want to do, and I want to be braver in the pursuit of my goals. I want to say yes more and not let fear get in the way. So I'm keeping that word as an anchor that will like lead me through this new phase of my life where I'm really like calling in things that I want in a bolder way. And so I literally figured it out in just 2 days, you know, and I think by the end of the month, I'm already going to have the entire song ready. And, you know, a week ago, I didn't even think that would be possible, you know? So things can really shift quickly when you say yes. When you say yes, opportunities open up that you wouldn't even expect just because you said yes. Because it opens a door. It opens the portal to that manifestation to come. And sometimes things that, again, you didn't even expect, that then like move you forward towards your goals in the most unexpected way. But they're there for a reason. And so the universe keeps sending the breadcrumbs. But if you close the door, how can the universe like communicate with you, right? And so to me, that's been really important, and it's something that I want to, get across. It's like, this is the first week, but this first week is the first is also the next 12 months, if that makes sense, right? Like, the way you live this week is an example of how you want to live for the rest of your life, but more specifically for the rest of this year. And so get fucking started. Do not let excuses and circumstances get in the way. Do it in the best way now, with the tools that you have, with the knowledge that you have, because everything else you will gather along the way. Like, the knowledge that you don't have yet, you will gather once you start learning it, once you make mistakes, once you find certain people. But you can only find certain people when you put yourself in the room, when you put yourself available for, getting to know, blah, 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 right? You can only move forward once you take the first step. If you don't take the first step, you stay still. You cannot move forward. Like, it seems so simple, but we do get stuck and we don't move forward, and we want to, and we have like this big vision or thoughts and things that, keep bubbling in our mind, but then we don't bring it to life. We don't put it into action. And I think this year is about a ton of action. So I really want you to know that, like, use this year and see this first month, these first weeks as the example of who you want to be for the rest of the year. And I'm not saying that you have to be a perfect version of yourself. You do not, okay? Because again, you figure it out along the way, and because you're never going to be perfect, by the way. That's like an idealized version of yourself that does not exist, that will never exist. But you get to be good enough, and you get to do the next right thing, at any point. So if you feel like you've been feeling a bit, anxious or a bit on edge, find ways to ground yourself. If you've been feeling a bit slow and like you want to get started, but you keep finding excuses, do something that will pump you up a little bit more. Find ways to support you where you are to where you want to go, and really closing that gap between the two. And those rituals and those like daily practices are what really help you move and shift that energy. So I would say that should be your focus right now. Like, not just your goals, but really understanding, how do I want to live my daily life? Like what's going to support me most into then, like, being in the mind space and the head space and like the energy for those things to come through naturally and effortlessly. And so, yeah, that might look like a lot of things. Another thing that I'm doing this year is I'm reading more books, not just smutty books. Those are obviously going to be there. But I mean, like, self-help books about finances, books about personal development, books that open me up, because I want to keep learning about myself, and I want to keep like having other people's perspectives so that I can continue to like open up to my own consciousness and like expand that, because again, that awareness, that knowledge, that perspective opens you up to new territory that maybe you didn't even know existed, but once you open that door, you cannot close it again. Once that consciousness is there, it's there, and it really helps you move forward. So to me, it's very important that I'm also focused on, okay, what inspires me? What makes me move forward faster? What makes me act more instead of just staying in my head, So those are all the things that I'm considering. And based on that, I have created kind of this routine and these practices that I'm coming back towards like again and again and again. And I think that's going to make the most difference in my year. So again, if you want really like that support system, and if you're not sure where to start, if you do know that certain things help, like meditation or journaling, but if you want some extra tools and you want inspiration on that, and you don't want to have to do that homework by yourself, I am doing weekly drops on Patreon, and you have there a ton fuck like meditations, workbooks, practices like with mirror practices, and even rituals that you can do, like release rituals and other things that we're also going to be doing this year that I'm still planning out. But the point is, Self-Devoted Girly is already there, and you can already take advantage of all the materials there. So definitely go check it out. I'm going to leave the link in the description of the episode. But so, to close this, another thing that I really want to say is, in the theme of practices and rituals and routines that you should be doing and that you can use in your favor, another thing that I really want you to consider is hobbies. Okay, I think that should be an N for 2026, because I think hobbies really lighten up your energy and make you feel more connected to yourself, more connected to creativity. It just makes life a bit juicier, and you scroll way less, which is a big fucking goal for me this year. Maybe you already saw it in my Instagram stories, but my goal is to scroll 50% less, and 50% is a lot. Like, let's say I scrolled 5 hours a day. Now I need to scroll 2.5, and actually I think I have scrolled even less than that, to be fucking fair. And scrolling is not the same as being on my phone, by the way, but scrolling specifically as in like, scrolling on my Instagram or TikTok, like that does not help me at all. It distracts me. It makes me feel like shit because I'm comparing myself. It makes me get a ton fuck of FOMO. It makes me feel anxious because then I'm always thinking like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. And then I'm not feeling like, I'm not going into trust with my own path and with my own journey. And so because I really want to establish that trust as my default setting, I'm saying no to getting distracted by whatever the fuck other people are doing. That does not concern me. It does not matter what other people are doing, how they're creating, how they're doing content, where they are going, like where they're traveling, how their relationship is. It does not matter. I already have enough information to decide and to know how I want to move next. And you learn a lot more from taking your own steps and figuring it out through your own journey than just looking elsewhere. Because even if you see something that you relate to or that you get to use, you never quite integrate it the same as when it's like with your own journey, because when you are there, you live it differently and it impacts you personally, and so it creates the change automatically. But if you're just seeing other people, it makes that change harder to implement and to really stick with it, because it's not like it hasn't hit you yet, it hasn't made a personal impact in your life yet. And so what I've noticed is, like, even if there's these amazing people doing these amazing things, there's no point in me like trying to get to where they are. Like, there's no point. I'm gonna move faster in my own lane, and that already will bring me so much more forward than just looking there and seeing what they're doing and trying to copy them. Like, there's no point in that. And I think that goes for anything, really, for your relationships, for your traveling. Like, focus on following your own instincts and your own heart, because that's going to lead you further. And this year, again, it's all about going further. And let me just check the time. Okay, perfect. It's all about going further, because it's the year where you're going to build that momentum. It's the year where, like, if you take one step, the universe is going to count it as two, kind of. Like, I feel like that's what this year is about. It's just going to catapult you. So use this to create that like momentum already, because it's going to set you up in a way that you never fucking could have predicted. I'm using fucking a lot today because of a show that I'm watching. Anyway, so I'd say that's really actually important, like creating hobbies for yourself, bringing pleasure, bringing happiness, like doing things that get you off your phone and ground you, make you feel more connected, and that overall just make you feel good. So for me, for example, like in the evening after dinner, I usually scroll a lot. I literally scroll until I go to sleep. So from like 8 till 11 almost, that's like just 3 hours. And sometimes it's even way more than that. But again, that makes me feel like shit. And then I'm going to sleep and I'm feeling really anxious and I can't sleep properly. And I'm thinking about all sorts of different things that actually are not helping me. And so I'm now shifting into, okay, I'm making bracelets and I'm painting and I'm coloring and I'm reading a book and I'm producing my music and I'm doing like all these sorts of things that are completely off my phone. I'm not saying that I can't scroll ever, but it's about creating a new pathway, and it's about like doing something that like making something your default setting and something that's actually going to be useful to you, something that's actually going to like help you and support you, rather than like having habits that are only bringing you down. I think this year is really about thinking about your habits and how you live in the little details, in the small things, in the daily actions, in the small moments. What are you doing hour to hour, minute to minute? Like, where are you spending your time? What are you doing with your energy? What thoughts are you having? And how can you start to shift? And the best way to shift is by setting up a new routine. And I'm not saying that you have to change drastically. You don't, have to go from where you are to suddenly like waking up at 5 a.m., running a marathon, like whatever. Go where you feel like it's the easiest to start. For me, it was like, I really want to start making bracelets, but I didn't buy them right away. And then 2 days ago, I went to a store and I saw these like beads, and it was the only box there with these really cute beads of like literally my fucking colors, purple, pink, and blue, which are my favorite. And I was just like, I need to have this. If it's below 10 euros, I'll grab it. And it was like 7. And I was like, oh my God. So here I am now with bracelets, and I've been coloring and I've been reading and journaling. And obviously sometimes I've been on my phone, but much, much less, which has been surprising. And I want to keep it up because it feels good. And I'm noticing already a difference in how I feel. And to me, that's like my compass, right? So just think about, what have you been curious about implementing? What has been a hobby that you want to get started on? And don't give yourself excuses before you say, oh, it's too expensive. Oh, it's too this. Oh, like I don't have enough time. Like, figure it out. Make the time. Look for things, because yes, sometimes some hobbies are a bit more expensive, but maybe you can find a way. Because when you put yourself out there, when you put that intention out there and you go search for it, you might be surprised. And that's what I found every single time. When you just go for it and you look for that, you might be surprised with what you find. I also thought like, oh, there's no way I can produce my own fucking music. And now here I am, right? And those opportunities show up when you open that door, when you say, you know what, I want to try this out and I want to explore, and let's like keep searching for something, because that thing always fucking finds you. Always. You just have to keep that connection open. And so, yeah, I think to me, those are the most important ends of 2026. It's like, you don't just claim what you want by saying, yes, I want this. You do it by connecting to the feelings, to the woman you want to be on a daily basis. For example, to me, it's really important that I keep regulating myself and I keep, working on my nervous system stuff, which I've already done an incredible fucking episode with Becca Nichols very recently on nervous system regulation. She is literally my go-to. Like, I did her membership for 6 months, and it taught me so much about myself, about my emotions, about how to regulate myself, and there's no one more that I trust than her on that theme. So definitely go check out that episode. And so what I'm trying to say is regulation is really important for me right now, because obviously, like, as I'm moving through so many changes, sometimes that brings anxiety, sometimes that brings fear, sometimes that feels unsafe. And so having those tools, really fucking important. And so I set like new alarms so that I can regulate daily. And that's also why I'm doing the 10 minutes of silence, because I want to have moments where I'm just with myself, where I'm just mindful, where I'm just present. I'm not always thinking about tomorrow. I'm not always thinking about something. I'm not always anxious about blah, blah, blah. Because I've noticed that has been my default setting, like anxiety, a bit like worried and feeling on edge. And I've also noticed that I was drinking coffee and it was not helping. Okay, so now I'm drinking decaf. But so like, noticing how I was feeling and then like balancing that out with what will support me with that. And to me, nervous system regulation is a big part. And I also noticed like, okay, you know what? I need more things. I don't want to just be on my phone all day. So I started thinking, you know what? Like I actually want to do this and I actually am curious about that. And I'm bringing more of that forward in ways that I didn't even predict before. And that's what this year is about. Saying yes, because the universe, when you say yes to yourself, the universe says yes to you. That's what you need to know. When you say yes to yourself, the universe says yes to you. It becomes a mirror. The universe is always a mirror. If things aren't working out, ask yourself how you are working against yourself right now. If you're feeling frustrated, ask yourself, you know, how is this frustration actually a choice that you're making low key? You know, because maybe being frustrated is easier than actually creating the change you want. You know, it takes a bit of a ruthless mentality, like very fucking brutally honest with yourself. And that's not always pleasant at all, but it's worth it. And that's something that I've been learning with myself a lot. Like, I don't want to lie to myself. Even if it's shitty, even if it's not pleasant, I would rather tell myself the truth, and I would rather be honest about where I am and how I'm truly feeling and what is actually not working that I'm pretending it is. I would rather do that than tell myself, oh, it's okay, oh, it's fine, oh, it's blah, 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 just push it aside until things explode in my face. And I'm like in a point where it's really hard to like bring myself up. Of course I will. We always do. But why would I bother to like take it that far when I can pick it up like from each moment? And each day I get to have that level of awareness and accountability with myself. So that's really fucking important for me this year. And I just felt like it was really important. Oh my God, my leg. That it was really important to pass that on to you too. And on the next episode for next week, we're going to talk about the outs, the things that we are not fucking doing in 2026. And that's going to be a really interesting one. It's all about the cock blockers to your growth. So it's fun. It's going to be sassy. It's going to be juicy always, obviously. And yeah, if this episode resonated with you, obviously let me know, comment down below or share on your Instagram stories that you've listened. And yeah, if there's anything that you are also claiming for yourself this year, you're in for 2026, things that you really want to bring forward in this year, definitely let me know. And I love you, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.